Welcome to our aging puzzle. I am your host, Carlette DeVoe. Our show is about aging and how it affects all of us. We will have one-on-one conversations with guests from all walks of life that have been impacted by life and aging. Whether they are seniors, middle-aged, or young, we will bring their inspiring stories to you. We're thrilled to hear stories that will warm our hearts, make us laugh, and motivate us. We'll learn valuable information about the latest topics, health issues, and how to live a longer and healthier life. We can't wait to connect with each other through learning and listening. These past 3 weeks, we have been discussing the grieving process, dealing with the death of a loved one. Grief can be so difficult to understand since we all experience it differently. Healing is a journey that often doesn't follow a linear path. On today's episode, we sit down with Latina Roggero, an inspirational woman who has had to overcome immense loss in her life, including the loss of her children's father, her sister, and her mother. And despite these difficult times Latina has faced, she has demonstrated such remarkable strength and fortitude in the quest to overcome them. She remains positive and continues to find healing. Latina's resilience is admirable and so inspiring. We are looking forward to hearing more about her transformational story and learning from her. Grieving is never an easy process, but it's also an inevitable part of life. We don't talk enough about grief. We as a society need to learn how to grieve because we've been told to suppress and ignore it for so long. Yes, yes, not always comfortable, but definitely needed. I get it. This conversation hits so close to home to us and my family. This month, September 2023, marks 2 years since my mother passed away from COVID. It has been a long and difficult journey for my family and we are still dealing with the pain of our loss. Every month, there will be one guest on our show, and that guest will be on the show for the entire month. We will walk you through their journey week after week. Remember, in week 1, you will hear the big reveal. How did they hear the news? We will learn about their emotions and how they felt learning about the diagnosis, about the loss of their loved one. How did their family take it? And week 2, we will always focus on treatment options. My guests will take us through their process to select treatment for their diagnosis or for their situation, and in this case, with Latina, the loss of her family members. Week 3, we will talk about the actual treatment. Was it effective? Did they have side effects? What was it like? We want to know and share everything with you. And week 4, we will hear the outcome of treatment, what happened, how are they doing, and what are they doing differently. So join us every week to hear our guests walk you through their journey. Our sponsor is DG Incorporated. DG Incorporated is a marketing and business development powerhouse, providing business coaching, strategic guidance, marketing, and tactical services to its clients. Now, it's time for Aging Facts. It's September, y'all, and September officially marks the start of fall. The leaves are starting to turn golden hue, and the temperatures are starting to drop. We have delicious seasonal snacks like pumpkin spice treats. Oh, they should be coming out now. Yummy. And we have the staple holidays in the fall, like we just had Labor Day and Patriot Day is coming up. This is time for us to enjoy the beautiful holidays and this fantastic weather and this beautiful time of the year. So let's talk about something that no one ever talks about: our oral health. How our oral health is linked to our overall health, no one ever talks about. It is important to maintain your oral health because it is important as you age. So, for example, did you know that poor oral health can be associated with certain conditions? Yes, the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, state that individuals with long-term illnesses like diabetes, heart diseases, arthritis, and lung disease may be more prone to getting periodontal disease. Mhm. Periodontal disease is a gum and bone disease around your teeth. So take care of your teeth, folks. As we get older, it is very important to take care of our teeth and gums in order to keep them healthy and to prevent health issues from getting worse. Also, keeping up with your oral health ensures that we can still consume a wide range of food and can take pleasure in eating. And remember, we're in fall, a fantastic time of the year, and going into the holiday season, you want to be able to eat all those delicious foods. Yes, we do. So, here are a couple of oral healthy tips for you and for us all to keep in mind. Oral tip number one: prevention matters. Brush, 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 floss. Take care of your dentures and partial dentals if you have them. And remember, certain medications affect your oral health, so check with your doctor about that. And always watch for changes in your mouth. Is anything different? Do you have dry mouth? What is going on in your mouth? And last, keep your dental appointments. It is very important to have regular visits to your dentist at least once a year. That is essential for keeping all health problems in check. You don't want to get gingivitis or anything like that, or periodontal disease. Remember that. So go and see your dentist. Take care of your oral health. And let's go, y'all. Age gracefully and healthily. Yes. So this month, our topic is dealing with the death of a loved one. Losing a loved one is an emotionally difficult experience, but society is not well equipped to address grief due to its focus on productivity and moving forward. That's not good. You have to grieve. Grief has none of these elements, especially in the early stages. Don't eliminate the process of grieving. And listen, whether you're experiencing loss yourself or you want to help support others who are going through grief, it is not going to be easy. There are 5 stages of grief that have been identified by experts: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And when you're going through any of these 5 stages of grief, remember, there are not always going to be the same for everyone. Here are some common misunderstandings about the 5 stages of grief. First of all, grief is often misunderstood by others, even though it is very normal. It is a normal response to loss. It's a common misunderstanding that you have to go through the 5 stages of grief in a certain order. No, no, that is not true. The emotions of grieving are organic. Also, do you have to go through all 5 stages of grief? People think you do. That's not true. Some people don't go through the anger phase. People don't always have to go through all 5 stages. Remember that. Some go through anger, some go through all 5, some may just go through the denial phase. Everyone is different. And also, does the 5 stages always happen at once? No, not true. Sometimes we go through similar stages multiple times, not just once. Sometimes we go through it multiple times. There's evidence that prolonged grief disorder can occur when an individual does not go through the process of grief, making it the central focus of their life and taking away from their ability to do anything else wholeheartedly. You have to go through the grieving process, because if you don't, you're going to have long-term issues that may affect your health and your happiness. So go through your grieving process. Don't let anyone tell you to stop grieving, but do not go through an eternal grieving process. Here's another fact. It's not just about losing someone precious. There are all sorts of losses that can bring about grief. According to many high-profile psychologists, this can include losing a job. Yes, losing a job. Sometimes people go through grief. They grieve, or if there's a divorce in the family or a breakup, or even losing a pet. You can grieve anything that's meaningful to you. So don't let anyone tell you that you should not be grieving for your pet or you should not be grieving because she went through a divorce. Everyone is different. The hardest kind of grief to deal with is often when we lose someone precious, but it is not the only kind of grief. Remember that. There are treatments for prolonged grief disorder, which are different from those developed before depression. It's not about forcing a timeline on grief, y'all, but rather giving people the help and support they need. We encourage you to go out and get help when you are going through the grieving process. Find a support group. I know Latina's going to talk about how she went through it, so we will share that information with you today with our guest, Latina. So now it's time to welcome our special guest today. Latina, this is her third week that she's going to be with us. We are very pleased to have her back today. Latina Roggero is a multi-talented individual who has achieved success in various fields such as real estate, international modeling, and community service. She is well known for her extensive market knowledge in the real estate industry, her captivating presence and talent in the fashion industry, and her commitment to community service. Latina's passion for community service is evident in everything that she does in her active involvement in various philanthropic endeavors, whether it's volunteering at local shelters, organizing fundraisers, events, charitable organizations, or advocating for underprivileged communities. Latina tirelessly devotes her time and resources to making a positive impact. Latina is amazing. I know her. She is fantastic. Her empathy, leadership skills, and ability to mobilize resources have earned her the admiration and respect of her peers and community members. Wow. And in addition to everything that she's doing, she has been a caring guardian for her family for the past 7 years, providing support for her sister and her father, and previously for her mother and sister until they passed. She is currently looking after her 85-year-old grandmother. Wow, bless her heart. Please join me in welcoming my very special guest, Latina. We are here with my guest, Latina Roggero, again for week 3. Thank you so much, Latina. We always enjoy having you.
Thank you. Thank
We
you,
always do.
Paulette. I appreciate the opportunity.
Fantastic. So, all this week, we're going to be speaking with Latina about what she did to cope with the grief and the grieving of her mother and her sister. We heard last week where she talked about she felt like she was going to die and she cried and she cried. We want to take that a step further to find out what else did Latina do? Yes, she cried, but is there anything else that she did? Because there's someone out there that is crying and it's still not enough. You're still going through the grieving process and you're stuck in one of the 5 phases of grief. We're going to talk about some of the things that Latina did, and maybe, just maybe, this information will help someone else out there who is going through the grieving process and who may go through the grieving process at some point in the future. So, Latina, last week you talked about the tears that you shed. You didn't have enough tears to shed and you kept crying. And your friend told you it's okay to let the emotions out. When you're going through this, what are some of the other things you did to help you get through the grieving process?
So I started up yoga. Yoga has been very, very enlightening for me. I started doing yoga last year, but I was only kind of going to class once a month. But I realized that I needed more than going once a month, so I go a couple times out of the week. And when I say it's definitely a healing process. It really is. I also get Thai massages, and my friend who I met, she does Thai massages. So it's a lot of stretching of the body, which is pretty much what yoga is. You're stretching your
Mhm.
muscles and things of that nature, opening up your heart. You're doing things that we need to do anyway, especially, the older we get. Um, but I realized from my Thai massager, she said that we carry a lot of our stress in our hips. So we do a lot of hip,
Okay.
stretches, which I never even heard of that. But my second time doing the Thai massage with her, and she did, more stretching of the hip. The next day, I just said, what happened? I called her up and told her, I said, girl, I've been crying up some stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with me right now.
Okay.
And she said, it's good. You're healing. You're healing. She said, those are more your emotions coming out. So
Wow.
even though before I'm thinking I cried and cried and cried, I thought it was all over, so to speak. No, it's still in there. And because I didn't cry as much when my sister passed, a lot of that was all built up throughout the years from her passing. I didn't mention to you that my kid's father was murdered when my kids was 2 and 4 years old.
Oof.
So
Wow.
that was another death in my family 26 years ago when he passed. And so I never really cried. I stayed busy.
Right.
So my whole life is always just busy, 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 go, 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 go. So I realized that I definitely still have a lot of emotions that is, but it's good.
Bottled
It's
up
good.
in
Yeah,
there.
bottle up. It's good. I'm glad everything's coming out because I feel great. I feel amazing. One of the things that I did do, I wrote a letter to my mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Let me tell you how that was. Woo.
That is deep.
Oh,
Tell us all about that.
oh my goodness. That was deep. Because I still kind of felt guilty, I felt like I said, my mom, as when you're grown and you got to do what you got to do to help yourself, right? So much that
Absolutely.
anybody else, we can't do everything for everybody. And for me, I had to realize that my mom did what she could and what she knew, and although I still was trying to convince my mom to get help, seek help, she said, nope, nothing's wrong with me. I'm good. Okay, it's nothing else I could do, right?
Wow.
So in this letter, when those emotions came out after doing the Thai massage, I realized, I got to write a letter to my mom.
Wow.
I wrote the letter, and it was a very positive letter. As an adult growing up, my mom wasn't really there for me. And so I was very angry about that.
Okay.
She was there for my sister who had more kids who needed her help. I'm one that, I've always done what I needed to do. I don't look for anyone to do anything for me. I'm
You're the
grown.
strong one.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm going to handle what I need to handle. I'm going to make it
Yes.
happen.
Absolutely.
And so my mom, of course, I didn't realize, I knew that my mom loved me, but at first I didn't think she did after she died. I didn't think that my mom loved me.
Wow.
But when I looked through her phone and I saw the pictures of me and when she was at my house last year, I knew she did love me. I think that I've been so strong that she just knew I was always okay. So she never had to worry about me.
Right.
So I had to come to grips with that. But this letter, when I wrote the letter, I said, dear mom, thank you for having me. She had me at 15. She could have aborted me. She was young.
That's true.
Right?
Absolutely.
But I thanked her for having me and thanked her for giving me life. I told her that she did an amazing job raising me. She did. She did a fantastic job. I mean, I've gone through life and it made me who I am. But even with not kind of being there with her and kind of getting to know her more made me even more stronger as a woman. And so I basically just said a few things. I was like 2 pages long. I was writing and crying and my hand was going so fast.
That's awesome.
It was just, I didn't think about it. I just started writing. I needed to write. It was like something
Everything you were feeling, the emotions came out in writing. Wow.
And I'm not really a writer like that, but I am writing a book. But at that time, it was just something came over and said, just do it. And so it felt good when I did it. I told my mom that I forgave her. I also forgave myself because I was, feeling some kind of way, like I was kind of like I added to her passing. Maybe if I would have been, there for her, forced her to do whatever she needed to do, she would still be here. But she made her decision,
Absolutely.
and so with us not really having that bond, I still know she still loved me. I loved her. Like I said, I didn't walk away from my mom. I was there 100%. When I found out what was going on, I was there every day, nonstop.
She did a great job.
She did an amazing job. There was no doubt. There was nothing in my mind saying, oh, well, my mom hasn't been there for me. So guess what? I'm living my life. No,
Right.
I didn't think twice about anything like that. I knew I needed to be there for her, and I was there for her.
That's fantastic.
So that made me feel good to know I didn't walk away. I did do a lot of talking to myself too, which is a good thing.
Yes,
it's not bad.
No,
but I
nothing
did
wrong
a
with
lot
that.
of talking with myself and saying, Tina, like, come on now, really? So me writing a letter was great. It was a full moon the next day. So I went outside and I burnt the letter. I actually have it electronically, but I burnt the letter and released it. Do you know how when I say I was good after that?
No
No
way.
lie.
When did you do that? How long after your mom passed? Because it's only been 7 months.
I know. I'm telling you.
When did you write that letter?
When I say I've been healing very fast, it's been amazing.
Wow.
I wrote the letter, I dated it. It was 2 months after she passed.
Wow. I can just think about the release that you had. Like you said, you had the release. You wrote the letter and burnt it. I've never heard of anyone doing that.
I still have it electronically. I took a picture of it. I have it in my phone. But I wrote the letter and I burnt the letter, and I did it on a full moon, and I just released it. I know my mom's in a better place. I know that she's no longer suffering, and I know she's still here. In memory, she's still here. So I've accepted the fact that, yes, she's transitioned from the earth, but she literally is still here.
That's fantastic. So you felt like you wanted to die, and to cope after your mom passed, and after your mom passed, we're talking about right now. You did a couple of things that were really phenomenal. One, first thing you did was you cried. You cried, and then you started going to yoga. Then you do the Thai massage.
I do that at least once a month.
Wow. And then 2 months after you laid your mom to rest, you wrote her a letter. Wrote her the letter, released it, burnt it on the night of a full moon.
Yes.
Released it. And that,
I tell you,
made you feel much better.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
All of it was just, I say everything is gone as far as the emotions, but the heaviness that I had going on.
Wow.
My goodness. It was so heavy. I had to figure something out. I had to do something. So me doing that literally worked. And I think it was a suggestion from my therapist. I can't remember who suggested it, but I said, no, that ain't gonna work.
Yeah, well, your therapist knows what he or she is talking about.
And I'm glad I followed suit.
That's the key. When they give you suggestions, you have nothing else to lose but to try it.
Absolutely.
To try it.
Absolutely.
So you went to counseling as well. Are you still in counseling?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's been 7 months.
7 months, yep. I just had my grieving counselor I talked to yesterday. She's so proud of me. She's like, your story is amazing. She's like, you're just doing so great. And I'm like, I am. But, it takes sitting still, sitting still and listening to your body. And I never have done, look, this is my first time even doing that.
You are a strong woman, and strong women,
yes.
what do? They do everything. They keep going.
Yes.
Push ourselves.
We do. We do.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
time to do, we have to do way more than that. We have to do more for ourselves. The self care is so important. I've been making sure I self care all the time. I have my own meditation room. I do my meditation every morning. I do my
Wow.
affirmations every day, all day. And that keeps me, where I'm able to stay afloat and stay positive and just to stay happy.
Stay positive, stay afloat, and to stay happy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are words out of Latina's mouth, things that she does to take care of herself. We are talking about mental health and how to cope when someone that we love passes away. Wow, today was a lot of information, guys. And Latina talked about what she did to handle the issues. Guess what she said? Reminder? She cried. She went to yoga. She went to Thai massage.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote a letter to her mom and burnt it on the night of a full moon. And she went to counseling. There's so many different ways to handle your grieving process. There's so many ways to handle your emotions. And those are the things Latina did to handle her emotions. If you are handling or dealing with something, the passing of a loved one, you decide how you want to handle your grief.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you do something so you can feel better because you can't help anyone else if you're not okay. Help yourself get through the grieving process so that you can live a long and healthy life. But remember, don't feel guilty. We're not saying forget about your loved ones. You will never forget them. We will never forget
Mm-hmm.
our loved ones. Latina buried her children's father 20 years ago, her sister 10 years ago, and her mother 7 years ago.
Seven
Will
months.
you, 7 months
Mm-hmm.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
will you ever forget them, Latina?
No, not at all. Absolutely not.
She will never forget them. But that does not mean that you stay stuck in grief and sadness. Do your best to get out of your sadness while remaining true to yourself and remembering your loved ones for as long as you want. Thank you so much for joining us today,
You're
Latina.
welcome.
We appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
Now let's talk about living longer and living better. Wow, beautiful, inspiring, heartbreaking, heart wrenching, all at the same time. Latina shared so many impactful information with us, and we hope that the information that this beautiful lady shared with us today is going to help someone out there. We appreciate Latina sharing her story. Now it's time for aging facts. Nope, I'm checking to see if you're awake. It's not time for aging facts. What is it? What comes next? What comes next, y'all? No, now we're going to talk about habits to live longer and live better. And remember what we say every week? We recommend 4 things every single week. I'm going to start testing you guys to see if you're paying attention and to see if you are learning something because we want you to live longer and we want you to live better. So, first, number one, proper diet. In order to reduce the risk of conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and heart disease, it is so important to have a balanced diet that includes a variety of foods from each group. Eat healthy, y'all, and I say it all the time, cut out the processed foods and the sugary stuff. Number two, regular exercise. You know, as we get older, it's normal to have less energy and not be as nimble as we were when we were younger. But growing older doesn't have to mean being a couch potato. Get off the couch. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention say that all older adults, men and women alike, can benefit from regular exercise no matter how moderate it is. Any exercise is better than no exercise at all. So get up, move, exercise, and have fun. 3, reduce your stress. Stress is a problem that affects all of us, no matter what your age is. But remember, older adults are particularly vulnerable to stress. Stress can lead to new health issues or exacerbate existing ones. And it can even accelerate the aging process. So reduce your stress. Try stress management strategies so that you can release the stress and live a better, more happier life and live longer. And last, we talk about it every week, socialization. Did you know that you can have a blast playing water polo, golf, dominoes, or even bingo? Anything with your friends and your loved ones. Get out and do something. Bingo is actually a very, 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 very fun activity for people. It is a super fun way to boost your psychological, mental health, and physical health. So go out there, play together, get a group, have fun, laugh, and enjoy yourself. And remember, these are things that we recommend every week because they will have a positive effect on your overall health and well being and will help you live longer and live better. Remember, our topic for this month is dealing with the death of a loved one, and we had our fantastic guest, Latina Roggero, who has been walking us through her story of the loss of a number of family members. Latina will be here again with us next week for the fourth week in a row. We will hear again from her. And remember to learn more about grief and loss. Reach out to the Crisis Call Center or call 988 or text them 988. They are there to help you. You can also find a grief support group at griefshare.org. Find a group, get help, and grieve. It is okay to grieve. It is just not okay to let it cripple you and keep you from being happy and moving on with your life. We want you to be okay. We want you to live longer. We want you to live better. And we appreciate you watching us every week here on Our Aging Puzzle. We invite you to watch Our Aging Puzzle every Friday at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel at Our Aging Puzzle, or you can subscribe to DG Incorporated and watch our show there every Friday at 8 p.m. Again, thank you, Latina. We love having you as our guest this month. We will see you all next week. Thank you for joining us. Voila!
I'm Kevin Harrington, an original shark from Shark Tank. DG Incorporated provides coaching services to help entrepreneurs open and grow assisted living facilities and build economic wealth. Visit their website to learn more.